It's actually one of the things that I suggest is everybody become an asset to everybody they meet. That's a 5-letter acronym for a spontaneous servant every time. Become a spontaneous servant every time, the rest kind of takes care of itself. I mean, the chances of you needing what I do when we meet, maybe 5%. The chances of you needing to know something I know or someone I know is probably 95%. So if we become an asset in advance, a spontaneous servant every time, if we work to be of service when we meet people, it's amazing what transpires because they can feel the fact that we are truly working to serve them. And when that feeling exists, I mean, isn't that what we're called to do? Jesus never spoke 137 times in the Bible, 122 were in the marketplace. Coincidence? I think not.
Welcome to the edge, where vision meets the test, where faith and fire build more than just success. Every voice a story, every scar a crown. This is the place where legacies are found. The entrepreneur's edge. We rise, we reign, we rise.
Welcome back to the Entrepreneur's Edge. I'm so excited that I'm able to bring to you my guest, Scott. We had initially a very interesting conversation and met him through an amazing group that we're both part of. And so without further ado, Scott, I would love for you to introduce yourself to my audience.
Well, thank you. This is so much fun. You know, it was so great talking to you the other day. I've been very blessed. I'm an international speaker and trainer, done over 3,000 events in my career, and just love meeting and greeting as many people as I possibly can to see how I can be of service.
You're so modest. I love the way that you create these win-win scenarios. And I know that after we had our, chit chat and our coffee chat, it really even helped to tweak some of the things that I was doing in my business. What is it about sales that you absolutely love? And for those of us, obviously, right, this is the Entrepreneur's Edge. A lot of times, that's almost our focus. And as many of my audience members or believers, we have to be so mindful not to make that an idol and to chase that. So I would love for you to speak into that.
Well, no, I appreciate that. The reality is selling is serving. And so when you truly understand that and you understand the foundation of everything behind it, see, people make sales way too hard. Typically, it's only 4 words: identify problem, provide solution. So basically, we're solution providers to people's challenges or problems in their lives or businesses. So again, how can it be anything else but service and wonderful when we were helping people with their challenges truly achieve their dreams? It's not about our features, advantages, and benefits of our products, goods, or services. It's about their needs, wants, and desires, and how can we help them live a more fulfilled life. So truly selling is serving when we take the time to truly understand somebody's challenges or problems and then align it with the proper solution.
Yes. And that is so good because especially for those of us who consider ourselves, right, kingdom people, we have access to the Godhead. We have the thoughts of the Father. We have an unction from the Holy One. So we do know all things. We have the mind of Christ. And so we can really get those divine downloads to help them, whether we're the one who's actually going to be providing the service or connect them to somebody else who can, because since we're serving, it's not like you said about us, we're able to just be of service, come up and offer and see if there's an opportunity. And if there's not, that's okay too, because it's not personal.
Yeah, it's actually one of the things that I suggest is everybody become an asset to everybody they meet. That's a 5-letter acronym for a spontaneous servant every time. Become a spontaneous servant every time, the rest kind of takes care of itself. I mean, the chances of you needing what I do when we meet, maybe 5%. The chances of you needing to know something I know or someone I know is probably 95%. So if we become an asset in advance, a spontaneous servant every time, if we work to be of service when we meet people, it's amazing what transpires because they can feel the fact that we are truly working to serve them. And when that feeling exists, I mean, isn't that what we're called to do? Jesus never spoke 137 times in the Bible, 122 were in the marketplace. Coincidence? I think not. right? But he never said, be me, do me. You know, what he said is follow me, right? Was be an asset to other people and show them good things, and good things will happen. That's our opportunity every day.
Yeah. And I remember you were saying something about like we're selling every single day. And I would love for you to touch on that a little bit, because sometimes, especially those who are hyper creative, sometimes we just want to do the thing.
Yeah.
Because we have this misnomer, like you said, about sales, which is, I love, you're talking about asset, and then we are serving, and we get the opportunity to, like you said, make somebody's dream come true. And when we focus on that, that's really exciting. But sometimes I know a lot of hyper creatives, me being one of them. Sometimes they just want to go into the lab and create and create and create. But if we're always creating and we're not actually giving out, presenting it, talking to people, then, we're actually doing the world a disservice, because we're not doing what we were created to do. I would love for you to speak into that a little bit.
Yeah, the reality is every time we open our mouth, we're selling. In other words, we're right now, this second, me presenting this concept is a potential start to the sale, right? Because I'm presenting something for your consideration. You now accept that piece of information and either say yes to it or no. Well, that's called objection handling, right? But the reality is everybody's selling every minute of every day. They just may not frame it that way. And so what I try to help people do is demystify the whole process. How do I do it? Well, have you ever been on a date? You made a sale. Have you ever put a kid to bed? You've made a sale. Are you married? You're better at this than you think. You were the product, right? So the reality is there's nothing wrong with selling. Webster's definition is the exchange of a product, good, or service for an amount of money or its equivalent. Well, I've created my heart-centered selling definition, which is education through communication without manipulation. Become a teacher. Teach about the things that can serve the other person. Communicate it clearly. Don't manipulate. As a salesperson, I don't ever want to sell you anything, but I do always want you to buy a lot from me. So
Yeah.
It's my responsibility to create that environment for you to want what I have, because you see how it will fulfill your needs, wants, and desires. It's not about me. It's not about my product. It's about you having your problems and challenges solved at the end of our interaction.
Do you always focus on the problems and challenges, or do you also target people who maybe from a desire point? Because I know some people, they don't like to talk about the problems, the problems or those kind of things, but they really want to focus on someone's desire. Like maybe somebody always wanted to, write a book, or, always wanted to produce a song or something like that. So it's kind of a problem because they haven't done it, but really focusing on the desire. Can you maybe speak into the distinction in that? Because I know, like we talked about not manipulation, and there's a lot of people who manipulate the pain point.
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, I would suggest nobody wants to write a book. What they want is the feeling that they get after they've produced the book, or the money that they've received, so it's truly about the benefits. Nobody wants any product that anybody has, quite frankly. They want the benefits they'll derive by having that. And so many sales trainers and many salespeople will focus on, as you said, the pain point. Oh, you want to write a book? I got you. I'm gonna make you want this so bad. Whereas I think that you can help somebody achieve writing a book, but you can do it in such a way of saying, let me ask you, so what feeling will you have once you've written a book? Will there be a feeling of accomplishment? Will you be able to pass along your genius to create your legacy? Will you be able to serve more people in doing that? How does that feel? Yeah, that's why I want to do it. Perfect. Then one great way of doing it is writing a book. I'd rather have the product, the offer, the goods, the services be the default on how to achieve what they really want to achieve. which is the leaving the legacy or sharing their genius or making money. It's okay to make money. You know, it's not the money, it's the intention behind it all.
Mhm. I love that. And as entrepreneurs, especially those who might have come up, with a different kind of background of like, money is evil and is, all this other nonsense. It's like, we're supposed to be taking care of the orphans and the widows and disenfranchised. So how can we do that if we're not in overflow? This concept of me and my four and no more. And I think this is why, like, God's like, when you look at even like scriptures, right? He uses a lot of entrepreneurs. There was a lot of people who were in the marketplace who actually were, greatly blessed, because he even promises that he will bless the work of your hands. But if you can speak a little bit more into that concept of money, because I know a lot of people like, oh, well, I don't need, it's like this belief system is, I only need enough. But really, we should have more than enough. And having entrepreneurship is really a righteous road path. It's very honorable to either, whether you're in a career and you want to go up the ladder, make, and be the president of your company one day or whatever that is, or run your own company. This is a very honorable profession. And part of that is, we need to make money. And there's beauty in that, because we can go ahead and love on people practically. If you can speak on that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got a number of thoughts on that. One is I was working with a friend at a seminar event, and somebody was very indignant and said, "When is enough for you?" And he said, "I'll answer it this way: enough to live on, or enough to do good works in the world."
So good.
And that really becomes the answer, right? I mean, past, living comfortably and a little bit more and doing some things like that, any abundance or excess we have allows us to do more good works, allows us to share. It was interesting. I was speaking to a group of about 100 entrepreneurs and business owners on Friday, and somebody said, "What do you charge?" And I shared it with them, and they said, "Wow, that's a lot." I said, "Well, but the good news is, when a college or university comes, I have a 90% scholarship off that fee for colleges and universities. That falls right within their budget." And they said, "Wow, that's a great way of doing it." And I said, "Here's the way I was taught. You get a fair and equitable amount where you can, full fee, so that you can take less than full fee where you want."
Mm-hmm.
So again, for me, it was, I wasn't going to charge the college and university my full fee, because they wanted to have me share this knowledge and wisdom to their student base. I knew they didn't have it more than likely in their budget. I had a fairly good idea what their budget was, and it was about 10% of my normal fee. Okay. For that instance, that was great. And I was able to serve them. In fact, I became the most asked for speaker at that college and university for 7 years running. So it was awesome.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing too. It's like, right, your price is your price, and it's fair and equitable, and that also gives you wiggle room to help people when it's appropriate. And then you're not doing it all the time, because then you're just going to have bitterness and resentment. Then you're not going to be able to shake it.
Yeah, the reality is, again, it's not. I learned a long time ago. I want to live comfortably. I want to live nice, but I don't have to live excessive. Now, every one of us makes our own definition as to what that means for us, right? But the fact is, we've done very nice things in our life, but we've also served a lot of people. Or I've been, I've gone and spoken at colleges and universities to serve the student base and the things like that where you can. The one thing I figured out along the way is, if you don't have resources, more than likely you're going to get frustrated, not because you don't have the resources. You're going to get frustrated by the fact that you can't serve as many people as you'd like to serve. Mm-hmm. And for me, that's frustrating when you can't do as much good as you'd like to do, right?
Yeah.
Now, Mother Teresa had a great quote on it. If you can't feed 100, feed one. So you can still do something, right?
Hmm.
But I'd rather feed the 100, right?
Yeah, that's more satisfying to me too. So, what exciting thing are you working on right now? What's exciting you in your life and in your work?
Well, I kind of made as you and I were talking, December 14th was my 10-year anniversary of my near-death experience. And I've always been an overachiever. I lived. So I made it through it. But I was doing a gratitude video, and I've been very blessed to learn how to do a lot of things in my life and a lot of things in my career. But I realized I was doing a lot of things and I was good at them, but they didn't really enthrall me, right? They didn't really make me my happiest or give me my joy. And I just went, what gives you the greatest happiness? Speaking and training. What gives you the greatest joy? Training. You know, when you impart something that all of a sudden you see the flash in somebody's eyes and you know you've improved their life for the rest of their life. And so I made the commitment. I am training and speaking the rest of my life. And I'm just working on doing more of that more often.
That's amazing. We're almost done. We're wrapping up our quick little coffee chat here. Is there any nuggets of wisdom that you would like to share with the audience?
You know, everybody, God made us to be so infinitely capable and talented, quite frankly. That's when I came down to really, I said, when I was doing that gratitude video, I said, I take no credit for being alive. God gets all the glory. It was his grace, mercy, and favor. But then I asked myself the question, have I done what he saved me for? And my answer was some of it, but not near enough of it. And that's the thing that I would encourage people. Really, if God has put something on your heart, go for it. He doesn't put anything on your heart that he doesn't equip you to fulfill and doesn't give you the path. Now, does it show up the second you want it? Absolutely not. I can tell you that for a fact.
Yeah.
But does it show up? Absolutely. He will bless you when you're on path. His plan and timing is perfect. All things work together for your good. Go for it.
Go for it. I love it. What is the best way for people to reach you? And also, please drop the name of your book so people want to check your book out on your near-death experience.
Sure. Best way is scott@scottschilling.com. I don't hide well. Or my website is scottschilling.com. I've written 24 books. The book about the near death was called That Sucks, What Now? Real world solutions to get you through what you're going through. It really, that sucks. I wish it wouldn't have happened. What now? What am I going to do? You don't sit in a pity party. You now come from it, right? So it was really about the solutions that I learned and have put into place over the time since that near death 10.5 years ago, and really working to continue to get better and serve more people more consistently.
That's amazing. But thank you so much for spending time with us here on the Entrepreneur's Edge. I can say it. I can say my own show name, right? See, you don't have to be perfect. So you're thinking, oh, I need everything perfect and everything has to sound perfect in order for me to start. No, I leave the bloopers in because it's going to give somebody some kind of encouragement.
That's exactly right.
And until next time, here from the Entrepreneur's Edge, may God's riches and best be yours. Bye for now.
Welcome to
Bye-bye.
the edge, where vision meets the test, where faith and fire build more than just success. Every voice a story, every scar a crown.